forgotten skin. Holding on to the current thesis, confiscated my own weakness. All of this will soon be in the past. And I keep running away from my mistakes. 'Cause Undertaker and all my heroes are fake. Day after day. 'Cause Undertaker, I just wanna be the light that is right in front of me. Till I have a little. 'Cause Undertaker. Sweet dead eyes staring calmly, looking at a distant memory, cognizant of rotting empathy. Take me back to the innocence of knowing that it will all make sense when God appears and lifts us from the grave. Made my peace with going nowhere, dedicated a life is showing. All of this will soon be in the past. And I keep running away from my mistakes. 'Cause Undertaker and all my heroes are fake. Day after day. 'Cause Undertaker, I just wanna be the light that is right in front of me. Till I have a little. 'Cause Undertaker. I'll see you when you go. I know, I know, I know. I'll be here when you go. And I'll keep running away from my mistakes.
Through the left side, base hit! Downing is in to score! And DVC walk it off!
Chest high step. He looks down the middle of the field. He's going to throw the ball right. Has him in the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted, taking it down the far sideline. He steps out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage. And that's how you cap the game up.
Sierra Smith quickly worked around, feeding the hot hand. Jasmine got it! 3 threes for number 23.
Who finds Edwards? Edwards needs to get the shot up. Pulls up a deep three. Able to knock it down.
The counterattack. Here comes Carla Ramos forward looking for Noelle Lemus. She's gotten by the last defender. Valentine comes out. Noelle drills the keeper. Lemus! Lemus! And that is a DVC victory. And the Vikings are champions of California! And welcome, faithful followers of the Green and White, to coverage of women's soccer on DVC Vikings Live Radio. I'm your host and commentator, Joe Hickey, ready to bring you today's matchup live from Carl Connolly Stadium on the campus of Cabrillo College in Aptos, California. We've got the homestanding Seahawks of Cabrillo College and the DVC Vikings, two teams off to very different starts against very different levels of opposition that will look to measure themselves against one another today here in Aptos. For Gladys Mondragon's side, it's 2 losses on the trot to teams DVC will face in the future. The Cañada Colts, who come to Pleasant Hill a week from today, took care of business a week and a half ago in the opening match for both of these teams, 2-0. And last Tuesday, the Vikings conference mates Sierra lowered the boom, hanging 8 on the Seahawks. Cabrillo has made a habit of facing Big 8 opposition in their first few games of the season the last few years, and it hasn't gone great. They're 0-11-4 against the Premier Conference in NorCal since defeating Modesto back in August 2021. As for Coach Cailin Mullins' Vikings, a 3-match winning streak to start the season is going to feel familiar, but also a little bit foreboding. Last year's Vikings started this way as well, outscoring their first 3 opponents by a 12-2 aggregate score before failing to win again until the season finale. Like last season, the first 3 adversaries have not been powerhouses. In fact, 2 of them were unchanged, Dianza and Chabot. This year's team, though, appears to have quality attacking options all over the field. The wing midfielders and outside backs have played havoc with the Mountain Lions, Eagles, and Gladiators, while the likes of Diana Ruiz, Alina Rodriguez, and Mila Ninkovic have proven to be solid contributors off the bench behind 2 informed strikers in Suhani Singh and Casey Trujillo. And it's lucky that the Vikings have had that level of depth. As we are going to take a look at the way they'll line up today, there are a few absences to contend with. This is the lineup they'll be running out with. Denise Correa will continue to be in goal, but the most notable absent players are going to be Sofia Lopez-Real and Suhani Singh, along with Callista Rubel. We'll need a little bit of time to work out exactly how this formation is going to run itself out, given that Rubel doesn't have the obvious like-for-like swap, for instance, that Lopez-Real would in Ninkovic or Singh would in Alina Rodriguez. My best guess, and we'll find out in a few minutes whether it comes to pass, is that we might see Diana Ruiz adopt the attacking mid-role, Maila Hicks back up into Sierra Rosemont's defensive mid-role, and have Sierra drop all the way back into center back in Callista's place. Of course, we might also just see an inventive change in formation, so all remains to be seen. Taking a look at the lineup for Gladys Mondragon's Seahawks, Zuniga in goal. The defenders, at least in name on the roster, are Gonzalez, Weiss, Karkner, and Knight. Midfield consisting of Horobin, Hirschberg, Cresswell, and perhaps Strout in an advanced position or as one of 3 strikers. Either way, the other 2 strikers will be Ramirez and Nunez. Paul Zaragoza, as well as Dubai Trujillo and Esteban Mora, are leading the teams out onto the field right now. We will take the opportunity to take a short break as Athletic Director Mark Ramsey takes care of the introductions and the playing of the national anthem, and we'll be back on the other side of a break. For the Seahawks, the second of 5 Big 8 opponents this month represents a chance to earn a first win of the season in style. For the Vikings, the first legitimate test of the season looms on the coastal horizon. It's Cabrillo DVC kickoff right around the corner on Vikings Live Radio.
And I can make myself happy for the moment if you want. Closing off my senses are harder than push away, I think that I can give up now. And I'll sharpen my focus if you notice when I'm gone. Upside down, no more sky. My mother said, be careful, don't keep it inside. Broken words trace your lips, you claim the earth. Fingertips, another day, we're gone, just passing us by. And I can make myself happy for the moment if you want. Closing off my senses are harder than now. Push away, was true, it was cold outside. I lied, but you put my coat on. I could move across the country somewhere that nobody knows me. Don't wanna be so lonely. Tell me that I won't have to make the best of my situation. And if I try, maybe I might, maybe I might. And if I try, maybe I might, maybe I might.
Lineups announced, anthem taken care of, and we are just about ready for action as the two teams meet at midfield. DVC, of course, in the road. White over white strip, a green racing stripe down the side of the uniform, and DVC in green across the chest. A large number where the crest might be on a European soccer jersey, and of course the numbers on the back in a block green font. As for Cabrillo College, their strip is head-to-toe black, which today they'll be happy that the heat streak in the area has broken. Temperatures in the high 60s as we get ready to get underway here. The captains for the Vikings striding to midfield to meet up with the referee group. Consisting again of Raul Zaragoza, the man in the center, Duban Trujillo, and Esteban Mora, the two linesmen. Savannah Cresswell now quickly out of her huddle to join them. The Cabrillo Seahawks with a little white attenuated stripe coming up from the bottom of the shorts. A little bit of design on the front of the jersey in white and gray, and then the numbers in sky blue. Outlined in white, again a block numeral both on the back and at the center of the chest, and the Seahawk logo that you see on the screen right now over their heart. Referees will be in highlighter yellow over black and black. Denise Correa athletic gold over black shorts, and the goalkeeper, all three of them, the one going into goal in just a moment, will be of course Alessandra Zuniga. All of them in a head-to-toe sky blue strip. We're here at the football field here at Cabrillo College. Seahawk at midfield with the football lines, which will help us out a little bit. Could have used those a few days ago at Chabot College to estimate the actual distance of, for instance, Callista Rubel's pass that sprang Casey Trujillo for the opener in minute number 51. Or for that matter, to figure out exactly how long Carol Esquivias' rainbow of an effort was that tucked itself in the top right corner, managing to avoid the goalkeeper there, Nat Hassman. The Vikings scoring 3 stellar-looking goals in the second half of that game after having their first match in which they did not manage to score within the opening 5 minutes. That match went to halftime at 0-0. As the referees splay out on the field, the first huddle to break is that of Cabrillo College, and we'll remind you one more time what their lineup is going to look like here. Zuniga in goal. Our best guess, as we said beforehand, is that it's going to be Gonzalez, Weiss, Karkner, and Knight in the defense. Horobin, Hirschberg, Cresswell, and perhaps Strout in the midfield. Ramirez and Nunez up top. Strout listed as a midfielder forward, so to my eye that always looks like a likely number 10, both wearing that number and potentially positioning herself in that slightly deeper playmaker role behind two strikers. Looks as though the Vikings will be kicking off as nobody from Cabrillo is inside the yellow circle. It is a 120-yard field. Can tell that by the fact that the goal lines are at the back of the two sky blue Cabrillo and Seahawks end zones. Denise Correa going back to the one that says Cabrillo to the left of our broadcast position. Vikings will be attacking from left to right here in the first half. Alessandra Zuniga sitting in the half moon right now outside her goal, and we are underway in this very moment. DVC Cabrillo live from Aptos here on DVC Vikings Live Radio. And the Vikings will start with it, but the pass out of the back from Maila Hicks just past Miyazaki and intercepted quickly here as Cabrillo looked to work it forward, banked off of Alina Rodriguez. And that'll be claimed by the number 11, Victoria Weiss. Her throw in forward, reflected at first by Hicks, now claimed by Nunez, who loops the ball over to the right side, just inside the sideline. It's picked up by a Cabrillo player, cross towards the back post, and actually at the top of the 6, just over the head of a leaping Cabrillo player. That was the number 12, Victoria Horobin, trying to get on the end of it. Nothing doing. Clearance, though, is only about 45 yards away, and Cabrillo back on it. On the foot of Andrea Gonzalez. Back now to the 9, Monsi Ramirez, who is definitely not playing as a forward right now, so we'll work out what this lineup in fact is over the course of the beginning of today's action. Right now it's a ball sprayed out to the right wing, trying to cut inside, now looking to get outside of Cristobal Rodas, across in on the ground, and out comes Correa to claim it. Appears to perhaps be Angelique Nunez as the center forward, and then being flanked by Horobin on the left. And I believe Layla Knight perhaps on the right. A little too far away right now to spot the number. Nope, that can't be it, because Layla Knight is the one on Miyazaki, tracking out of the midfield towards the wing. It's a ball forward by DVC's Sierra Rosemont, too long for Miyazaki. So we do have our answer. It's actually Maila Hicks, who has been a Swiss Army knife so far this season, tucking in as the center back here. Rosemont stays put where we're accustomed to seeing her, and Diana Ruiz is in the midfield. So not quite right about the identity of the player that wound up in the midfield, but formation remains unchanged. It is Hicks in the defense rather than Rosemont. So Ninkovic, Hicks, Underwood, and Rodas across the defense. Midfield of Miyazaki on the right, Esquivias on the left, Rosemont deep, Ruiz forward, and then Trujillo and Alina Rodriguez, who is battling for the ball about 5 yards shy of the midfield stripe right now, unable to hold it in play. Cabrillo with the throw in from the near sideline, left side of their attack. Their defensive line, in fact, consisting right now of the 11 Weiss and the 15 Hirschberg, as the ball is put over the top by DVC and claimed by the 17 Josie Karkner. So Karkner and Hirschberg, your central pairing. And here's a giveaway by the right back, straight to the feet of Carol Esquivias. Correction, Sierra Rosemont. Double correction, Casey Trujillo. Either way, she's lost out on it, but DVC do maintain possession. Rodas over the top of one defender, finds Trujillo. Decent shoulder challenge and shepherds the ball out for a Viking throw. Ball presently about 25 yards away from the byline. Throw in from the far sideline, left side of DVC's attack. To the feet of Esquivias, right back to Rodas, now back to Esquivias. Puts it on her right, trying to cross it in from the top left corner of the box. No dice. Blocked away, and now Sierra Rosemont trying to slide a ball up the left side. That's going to end up out into touch for a Cabrillo throw. At least as it currently looks, it would appear to be Nunez and Horobin bracketing Layla Knight in the forward line. We mentioned before, it looks like Hirschberg and Weiss are your center back pairing, or rather Karkner, with Weiss at left back. And currently the main mysteries are who's playing at the right positions of the field. The right midfielder, the right back, as DVC earned their first free kick of the day. A foul in the center third. 50 yards from goal, we can tell as they put the ball right on the 40-yard line. Ball driven by Wood, and that's picked up by Esquivias. She'll take a rip from the top left corner of the box. Visions of the sort of goal she scored yesterday. This one a little bit flatter and right at the near post. Saved by Alessandra Zuniga. Her first call to action today. DVC with the first shot and first shot on goal. Cabrillo with one foul. Yet to see a corner kick. And of course 0-0 here on the scoreboard through 5 minutes complete. Vikings control at the midfield circle. Sierra Rosemont forward finds Esquivias trying to feed the overlap of Rodas. No dice. Clearance only as far as Wood. She'll change the point of attack to Miyazaki. Central. Trying to loop this one into the channel on the left side. Esquivias looks to run onto it. Rodriguez trying to make it difficult. Clearance is going to go off the head of Carol and out for a throw-in. Cresswell at the moment seems to be the center of the midfield for Gladys Mondragon's 4-3-3. That would appear to leave Sadie Strout as the right back, or perhaps as the right wing. It's a ball forward by Esquivias towards the left corner of the box on a diagonal that's going to arrive to the hands of Zuniga. Casey Trujillo in the area, but never really threatening. Clearance is the goal kick, rather, drop kick, trapped nicely by Horobin. Laid back now to Weiss. Centrally, and that's a little bit lazy there. Good work here by the 9 Ramirez to keep the ball for Cabrillo as Alina Rodriguez was lurking with evil intentions, if you're a Seahawks fan. Esquivias taking a ball away at the sideline, but she's doubled up there. Sadie Strout will claim it. Back to the captain, Cresswell. She dribbles back towards the center circle under pressure from Ruiz. Now tries to drive a ball to the left of the center striker, Nunez, to run onto. Nothing doing. Clearance from Rosemont, reflected here by Weiss. Claimed by Horobin at the left side of the midfield. Back to Weiss, now Ramirez. Center backs exchange it back and forth, Hirschberg and Karkner. Ball dropped over to the left side, and that is going to go out of play just before being handled by Victoria Horobin. Throw in here coming for the Vikes, Mila Ninkovic. Here in her third start in green and white. Missed the game, the home opener against Woodland, but has started all 3 road matches so far. Throw in ends up at the feet of Casey Trujillo, tries to center that up for Esquivias. Rattles around amongst the Cabrillo defenders. Here comes Miki Miyazaki from behind, and she'll commit the first foul against DVC today. And a free kick in the defensive third, way over towards the near sideline. This one's looped towards DVC's defensive line. Rodas claims it. Trujillo over the top, and it's a foot race between Rodriguez and Zuniga, but the ball is going to win that foot race and end up back at the woman in sky blue. Work to the near sideline, now into the center circle by the Seahawks. Cresswell, Ramirez, over to the right. Now up that right sideline, looking for Sadie Strout to run on Cristabel Rodas, and she's got a step, earns the byline, hits the brakes. Rodas gets the ball away, and now she's the one defending it. Stops right on the back line. The flag is up from the AR over there. And it would appear that it is up for a goal kick to Denise Correa. The ball did go over before it was, in fact, touched or controlled by Cristabel Rodas. Nope, never mind that. It's a free kick. There's a foul in that tussle. Always a troublesome thing when the lineman puts the flag up like that. I believe that is Dubai Trujillo over at the player bench sideline across the way from us. But at some point or another, the signal for goal kick, free kick, and offside all look the same. Had to be a foul, as Strout was for sure not offside. Here's a ball forward. Trujillo has dusted a defender at the midfield stripe and is now running at the center back. Here comes Casey. She's going to take rip from distance. That is by Zuniga, but wide of the goal. Second shot for the Vikings. That one does not wind up on frame. But no surprise there, Casey Trujillo very willing and eager to take rips from that kind of distance. That one coming from about 30 to 35 yards as she ran dead center at the center back Karkner. Sliding challenge coming from the midfield by Sierra Rosemont. Upends Layla Knight, no foul, but the ball is out for a Cabrillo throw. Into the midfield and straight to the body of Diana Ruiz, working against Monsi Ramirez. Diana pushed back, and Ramirez wins that battle of strength. From the front of the center circle, pushes it to Stroud on the right side, and now she looks to feed Ramirez, who enters the 18 from the right. Here comes a shot from her, and Denise Correa will knock that down and claim it on the second grab. First shot on goal for the Seahawks. Two-1 the shot count, 1-1 the shot on goal count. 2-1 the foul count in quote-unquote favor of Cabrillo, and 0-0 on the board. We have a player down here, no foul call, but the referee stopping play to check on the condition of the number 11, Victoria Weiss. So we'll take the opportunity to try to recap what we're seeing in the formation before Gladys Mondragon potentially changes it. We do seem to have Layla Knight and Sadie Strout bracketing a center striker of Angelique Nunez. Seems to be some willingness between Knight and Nunez to swap places there. Your defensive line would appear to be Andrea Gonzalez on the right, the woman who is now back to her feet and restarting play, Victoria Weiss on the left, with Hirschberg and Karkner in the center. And that leaves Savannah Cresswell, Monsi Ramirez, and Victoria Horobin as your midfield at the moment. Another foul committed here by Cabrillo College. DVC will have a free kick from roughly the midfield stripe, pushed way over to the near sideline. 3-1 that foul count. Sierra Rosemont will take it direct on one hop to the body of a Cabrillo defender. Ruiz heads it forward, absorbs contact, and DVC will pick up a free kick a good 30 yards further forward. Center referee Paul Zaragoza stands on it just behind the 24-yard line, making it 34 yards away from goal. And it is roughly at the right side hash marks of the football field. About the same width as the outside of the half moon at the top of the box. Zuniga at her right post has put 3 in the wall and positioned them accordingly. DVC with 4 circulating inside the box, now a 5th as Trujillo comes in. Kick taken by Rosemont. She'll drive that one just to the right side of the wall, waiting to see if it indeed took a deflection. And the answer to that question is yes. The signal from the AR on this side, Esteban Mora, is corner kick, and it's going to be Carol Esquivias to take that one from the right side. Mila Ninkovic is the short option. Esquivias with the hand up, waiting for the motion inside for the Vikings. Here comes the ball floating toward the back post. Arriving for the header, but unable to make contact is the runner from the left side. Ball cleared by Cabrillo. And it falls to the duty of Angelique Nunez to hold the ball right there and await the cavalry. She does well to accomplish that. Now a change of the point of attack from Gonzalez all the way to Horobin at the midfield stripe on the left side. Back to Weiss. Centrally and picked off by Diana Ruiz. Leaves that for Miyazaki. Trying to loop a ball forward for Alina Rodriguez to run onto. The attempted back and forth between the center backs nearly gave Alina room to get to that. Ruiz trying to slide one to the left side for Esquivias. Didn't see the defender in the way. Ball out of the back from Cabrillo, picked off by Ninkovic. She's running up the right side, 40 yards from goal. Sliding challenge, clean as a whistle, even as Miyazaki tumbles over the captain Cresswell. And there's a second challenge, again clean. Rosemont this time the victim, but the Vikings able to escape, hold possession, and Wood has earned a free kick, which they try to take quickly on a handball. Her clearance rattling off the right arm of Layla Knight. Tried to take it quick. The ball hadn't stopped rolling, and so the referee Zaragoza pulls it back. Ball on the foot of Sierra Rosemont. Inside the center circle, drop back now to Wood. Pressure comes and the ball taken away here by Nunez. Looking for Strout, getting off to a run on the right side, nothing doing. Now a nice interplay between Rodas and Esquivias. Up the middle looking for Alina Rodriguez, and out comes Zuniga to claim it. And trying for the long distance shot from 40 yards was Miyazaki, with Zuniga outside her 18. Couldn't get firm contact though, and it skews wide right. Third Viking shot to just one for Cabrillo, but both teams still with just a single shot on goal. Zuniga and Correa a save apiece. And we have had the day's first substitution here as Anali Flores enters the encounter in place of Sadie Strout. We'll get that updated on our roster there for you. Seems to go into the same position for a moment. Nope, correction, it is not Strout who came out. She was just walking along the sideline near her player bench. We'll keep an eye out and see if we can let you know. Either way, though, the 4 Anali Flores into the game on the left side may have taken off Horobin. I think that's the more likely case. That would seem to be the case, so we'll go ahead and update that as well. And it is indeed a like-for-like swap. Flores camping out on the left wing where Horobin was beforehand. Layla Knight tucking a little further back into the defense. Horobin and Knight had been somewhat sharing that left side wing role. Cabrillo in possession right now as the newcomer Flores drops it back to Weiss. Midfield stripe, near sideline. Good work by Miyazaki to disrupt her, and Alina Rodriguez takes it away, plays that off the arrival of Weiss, and out for a Viking throw. No, the correction there, apparently given the way of black by Mr. Mora. A little bit surprising there. Miyazaki certainly nonplussed, as she thought she had a pretty good seat to determine which way that throw ought to go. Since then, another ball out of play, another throw in from roughly the same spot, 10 yards behind the center stripe on the left side of Cabrillo's midfield. Ball up ahead into the center circle for Esquivias, not able to handle it cleanly, but she hassles Cresswell enough to take the ball away. Trujillo sees Miyazaki with a ton of room on the right side of the midfield. Now she sprays one up ahead for Alina Rodriguez. The flag stays down. Alina, right side of the box, cuts around the arrival of Hirschberg. Rodriguez still with it on her foot. Now spins right. Now loops that towards the top of the 6-yard box, but too close to Zuniga, who comes out to claim. Nil-nil if you're just joining us here. Vikings in their 4th match of the season. They have won all 3. Cabrillo, their 3rd match of the season. They've lost both of them. In no way do those records reflect the likely relative quality of the teams, as we've got a decent gathering here of Cabrillo supporters on a very pleasant Tuesday afternoon here in Aptos. We mentioned in the beginning here that Cabrillo have been facing very high-level opposition, the likes of Cañada and Sierra, perennial playoff contenders. Vikings have done what they needed to against a handful of programs that are either brand new or in rebuilding mode at the moment. And so today, a chance for both programs to really see where they are. Ruiz takes the ball away at the right side of Cabrillo's defense. Ends up back with the right back who plays it out. Throw into Rodas, going over the top, looking for Esquivias. She's not able to handle, but creates enough space for Trujillo to grab it. Esquivias on the ball. Drop back now to Maila Hicks. On the foot of Ninkovic. The right back coming forward, looking to deal with the substitute Flores. Unable to find Miyazaki, though, here, as she did get briefly by Flores. Good work by Rosemont, though, to take the ball away from Layla Knight inside the center circle. No foul here as Rosemont was spun to ground. Ruiz continuing to contend for the ball. She'll earn the Vikings a throw-in. I mentioned the substitute earlier, Taylor Long, Olivia Iturria, Haley Medina, Marixa Rodriguez, and Jolette Rodriguez available as well to Gladys Mondragon for the Vikings. Just one sub available, and it's Hannah Walden. The ball forward looking for Rodriguez, a little too hard from Esquivias inside the center circle. That'll run all the way to the goalkeeper here as we are in minute number 20. Cabrillo trying to come forward through the left side of their defense, reflected for a moment by DVC. Ruiz and Miyazaki applying pressure. Now it's the substitute Flores doing battle with Alina Rodriguez. Alina wins DVC a throw-in at the near sideline, and that'll provide time for a substitution as Carol Esquivias will depart for a moment to catch a breather. Somebody who was lauded for her work rate during the match on Friday against Cabrillo College. She will make way for Hannah Walden, the one available sub for the green and white. They are without, perhaps most notably, leading scorer Suhani Singh, who has now tallied 8 of the Vikings' 17 goals on the season. But unlike last year, firepower all over the field for the green and white. Casey Trujillo has scored once in every game. Esquivias now has a pair. We saw goals from Alina and from Diana, the two usual subs who are starting today for the first time in green and white. Miki Miyazaki working here against 2 Cabrillo defenders, has the ball taken away, brought forward to Angelique Nunez. Nunez has an isolated striker trying to split the difference between the 2 DVC defenders. Does not get a ball to her, though. Finds Strout instead. Now a ball laid up the right wing where Strout has been patrolling. Nobody there this time. DVC take it away, but a sliding challenge out of the midfield from Cresswell. Recovers it, but the layoff for Cabrillo takes a deflection off of Lily Underwood out at the far sideline for a Cabrillo throw. That is immediately repelled, however, by Rodas. Trujillo trying to beat her opposing captain to that ball to no avail. Laid over the right side, met with the head of Rodas, trying to settle his Trujillo, no such luck. Instead, the ball claimed by the 17 Karkner. Lays it up the right sideline, trying to free Strout, but she's not able to chase it down before it goes over the sideline for another DVC throw. Summing up one more time, or summing up your stats rather, DVC leading 3-1 on shots, 1 shot on goal apiece at the moment, 3-1 the foul count, Cabrillo with more of those. Vikings have the only corner kick so far in today's encounter, as we are just about halfway through this first period. Right down to the black jerseys, a game that feels rather familiar, rather similar to the one that took place in Hayward 4 days ago. Vikings control off the Cabrillo throw-in, laid into the center of the midfield, but a little loose for Diana Ruiz. Claimed instead by Ramirez. To the feet of Cresswell, spins around the arrival of Alina. Vikings working with Hannah Walden right now up top alongside Trujillo, and Miyazaki takes the ball away, trying to free up Walden in the center. Cut off there by Cresswell, who seems to be playing the role of a midfield wrecking ball at the moment. Whichever corner of the diamond she needs to be at to sow panic or disrupt DVC attacks, that is presently where she is. Seahawks earn a throw-in. Just outside their defensive third. That'll be taken from the right side of their attack, the far sideline from our broadcast position. Ball popped up with the head of Alina Rodriguez, who is fouled from behind. Fourth Cabrillo foul. And it'll be a free kick from about 50 yards away, pushed over just in front of the Vikings player bench at the far sideline, left side of DVC's attack as they attack left to right across your YouTube progress bar. Free kick taken short and intercepted. Don't know that that was the best option that DVC had in that moment. Ball worked to the center circle, claimed there by the 19 Knight, trying to free Strout on the right wing. Picked off, however, by the Vikings. Up ahead for Trujillo, flag is up. Looked like she was on a bit of a breakaway, and there's a reason that she was able to get so far in front of everybody. She had a head start. So Esteban Mora brings the action to a quick close. So for Gladys Mondragon's Cabrillo Seahawks right now, it is Flores and Strout bracketing Nunez. In your forward line, Cresswell, Ramirez, and Knight, presently your midfield. For DVC, it's currently Hannah Walden and Casey Trujillo as the ball is ticked by a Cabrillo player out towards their player bench. Throw in for the Vikings coming from the far sideline in a moment. For the Vikings, Walden up front, an imposing physical presence alongside Trujillo. Alina Rodriguez at the moment slotting into Esquivias' usual left side midfield role. Throw-in is popped up and claimed and protected by Cabrillo for a moment, now looped toward the right side. Chased down there by Rosemont, hoofed forward by a Cabrillo player, briefly cleared by Ninkovic. Comes right back to her and is more authoritatively cleared, now headed towards the attacking third. A battle developing there involving Diana Ruiz, who wins that battle against the number 10, Sadie Strout. DVC trying to get loose down the left side. Ball chased down by Rodas. Earns a throw-in after banking it off the retreating right back Gonzalez. This time DVC will look to maintain possession. They take the ball back to the feet of Lily Underwood. One touch from Rosemont, now all the way back to Hicks. Ninkovic just across the midfield stripe here on the right side. Miyazaki up ahead as DVC look to matriculate the ball up that portion of the field. Well protected, however, by Hirschberg from the challenge of Walden, and she'll earn Cabrillo a throw. Taken up the near sideline. Layla Knight drops it back to Flores. As the two of them overlap in their positions. Ball forward. A little overcooked. And falls to the feet of Lily Underwood. Rodas does well to come towards a ball that was played toward her. Sadie Strout looking for that turnover that could seed panic. 4 days ago, DVC's first shot on goal came courtesy of a giveaway at the right side of the defensive line for Chabot. Always on the lookout for that instant offense. Ball claimed by Diana Ruiz, trying to roll that into space for Rodriguez to run onto. Nothing doing. Near giveaway here as Trujillo almost intercepted a ball from Strout to Ramirez, or Gonzalez rather. Ball up the right sideline for Cabrillo, picked off by Wood. Nice work by Rodas, the transfer for Pacific Union, from Pacific Union rather, to find Miyazaki alone on the right side. Takes advantage of the space here as Ninkovic looks to play her on at the midfield stripe, trying to loop one to Ruiz. Didn't quite get the chip away, and it falls instead to Montserrat Ramirez. Into the center circle for Knight, now finds Strout leaking out. Strout looking for a ball over the top for Angelique Nunez. Nothing doing. Out comes Correa, and she will claim that at the top of her box. This, of course, the first of 2 games this week for the DVC Vikings, both of them on the road. The other one, a little bit of a weird kickoff time to come, as the Vikings will travel to face off with the Trojans of Skyline. Second year running, the DVC will match up with the club from San Bruno in San Bruno. Continuing a tour of lovely weather compared to the 95-degree temperatures that we've been seeing in Pleasant Hill and throughout the Bay Area. Bit of an errant ball by Ninkovic. Thankfully, Rosemont attentive to it. She'll try to push one up the right wing. Nobody for the Vikings running into that space. After those 2 games, DVC will return home for a pair of home matches. Their only other 2 non-conference home matches this season. Next Tuesday against Cañada, next Friday against Butte. Both of those 4 p.m. kickoffs. We hope you'll be there in Pleasant Hill to join us. Vikings earn themselves a throw-in as a ball is deflected out by a Cabrillo player. Looks like it'll be Cristabel Rodas to take that in a moment. In the meanwhile, a substitution being offered by Gladys Mondragon. We'll see who is entering the fray here. Earlier, we saw the departure of Horobin. That might be the 18 Marixa Rodriguez. And indeed it is. And she enters in place of the 16 Angelique Nunez. Of course, we will wait to see if that is a like-for-like swap and she winds up anywhere near where we saw before. But for Nunez, she has been playing that center forward position. Throw-in rattles around in DVC's attacking third for a moment, but unable to do much of anything with it. Look out here, the fresh legs of Rodriguez, played on nicely from the center by Strout. Good work by DVC, Sierra Rosemont, and Maila Hicks tracking back to take that away, and now an errant layoff by Cabrillo. Trujillo On top of that, she ends up with the last touch as it goes out in front of the DVC player bench. Throw in comes to Alina. Ball forward toward the center of the defense. Cleared quickly by Monsi Ramirez out to the left wing for Flores. 40 yards from goal. Flores central, reflected by Wood. Popped up in the air here, battled for by 2 players from each team, make it 3 from Cabrillo. And the numbers advantage pays off as Cresswell claims the ball. We've got advantage played as Miyazaki has knocked Cresswell to ground. Ramirez to Strout after a touch from Rodriguez. Strout spins around a player, now fires from distance, but that is well wide of Correa's goal. Second Cabrillo shot. First one not to find the target and force Correa into some action as we enter the final quarter of an hour of this first frame. 0-0, DVC with the 3-2 lead in shots. Cabrillo the 4-1 lead in fouls. Vikings have the only corner. Both teams have brought 1 save out of their opposing goalkeeper. In the case of the Vikings, it was Karol Esquivias firing from the top left corner of the box. Esquivias, who has scored in 2 matches running, rather. The Vikings looking to find the cutting edge in the absence of their prolific striker Suhani Singh today. Ball out on the far sideline, left side of DVC's attack. It'll be a throw-in from about 20 yards from the byline. Rodas up to take it. Trujillo and Walden lurking nearby alongside Alina Rodriguez. 1 touch from Casey, and Cresswell clears it right back from where it came. Another throw to come in here for Cristobal. She'll go back into the defensive line. Drops this one to Wood. Bit of a square ball, a little risky, and Rosemont not able to handle it. Annalie Flores will take it away. Rosemont looking to get stuck in. Flores dribbles towards the center and now looks for a diagonal ball to the right wing. Nothing doing. Wood cuts it out. Lily up the left side. Long run for Alina Rodriguez. Cleared away by Gonzalez. Viking throw to come. Appears right now that one got stuck in a bush. Circling the field, we've got, of course, the football stands all the way across the side of the press box where we're broadcasting from. On the other side, some bleachers behind the player benches, and then a good bit of shrubbery on either side. That would appear to be where the ball is. I would imagine we must have at least one other game ball somewhere we can use at this point, but a bit of a search underway. Would appear to be involving Sam Lubasic and perhaps volunteer assistant Marjan Hayderi. Either way, a legal sphere has been located, and Rodas will put in the throw-in. Immediately reflected from Walden back toward Trujillo. She'll drop this all the way back to Wood, just inside the sideline. Loops forward for Walden, who can't quite get a touch to control it, and that'll carry all the way to Zuniga. Long ball driven here to the feet of Victoria Weiss. Forward looking for Flores, but errant. It'll go over the sideline here. Rather narrow, the field. We mentioned beforehand that this field appears to be the full 120 long, based on the yard markings, but I would say maybe just a yard or two past the outside of the football sidelines. So likely something like 60 yards wide, and so not a ton of real estate there as we've got a player down, and a quick call from Esteban Mora to bring out the training staff, as it is the number 15, Bailey Hirschberg, that has hit the deck. Saw her patting the ground with her right hand. Is lying in a rather awkward position, has her right leg very much kinesio taped on the back, but it appears to be her left knee that they're taking a look at. Teams will go into a huddle. And we'll take an opportunity to tell you a little bit about what else is going on in Big 8 play right now. Vikings, of course, still a couple weeks away from facing off with Big 8 opposition. 5 non-conference games left. Their season inside the conference will kick off on October 8th. They've got the bye, however, the first match day, the Friday before. But taking a look here, the Vikings, one of only 3 perfect teams coming into today's action. Santa Rosa, who were in San Jose today, taking on Evergreen Valley. They won on Friday against Clovis to go a perfect 5-0. They've knocked off a few minnows here and there in the form of Woodland and Contra Costa, but Cañada is a decent result for sure. Clovis, last couple of years, has been a pretty good program, so a few encouraging wins for them, and they've certainly been dominant against the minnows. Modesto, perhaps a little bit of a surprising 4-0, a program that back when I first joined on in 2014 was at the height of their dominance, but has had some struggles in recent seasons. They are 4-0 at the moment after a 3-0 victory at Madera on Friday. They visit Lemoore today. They've got wins as well against EVC, Los Medanos, and Reedley. Of course, the Vikings, you know all about them. 3-1 victory over Chabot at Cabrillo today, and with victories over De Anza and Woodland to start things off. Take note there of the Folsom Lake one. They are not perfect, but they have been since their draw to Lake Tahoe Community College. The defending state champions, Folsom Lake, started their season with that stalemate at altitude, but since then they're 4-0 against Las Positas, Fresno, Madera, and got one for free as Butte forfeited on Friday. Take note of that because the Vikings, in theory, are facing off with the Roadrunners in Pleasant Hill in 10 days' time. Hirschberg is back to her feet, but does not appear to be putting any weight on the left leg. Trainers on either side, and it looks like they will be carrying her over to the sideline, so not encouraging viewing for the Cabrillo faithful, as the freshman out of Pleasant Valley is unable to make it under her own power.
Thank you to the athletic training staff, Rebecca, Northon, and students. We hope everything is okay.
We hear the announcement from the AD and public address announcer, Mark Ramsey, thanking the training staff here at Cabrillo College as Hirschberg leaves the field. Against Chabot, the Vikings had a player down for a somewhat prolonged period of time. Callista Rubel took a very tough fall and appeared to have what would be a very understandable, slightly panicked reaction to what had to have felt like being hit by a truck. Lucky thing was, by 15 minutes later, she was right back in the encounter. Hirschberg, you'd have to say after that, as she hops to the bench after being put down, looks a little less encouraging at the moment for an immediate return. We'll keep an eye out to see who has been added to the team out there on the field, and we'll come back to those Big 8 standings in a little bit. And it is, in fact, Victoria Horobin who re-enters the fray in place of the departed, for now, Bailey Hirschberg. Horobin slots herself at the left wing position. Aneli Flores tucks in a lot deeper. In fact, she may well be the left back now in this 4-3-3 formation. Ball out in front of the Viking sideline. It's going to be a Cabrillo throw-in. 6.5 minutes left on the scoreboard clock and on the one here on DVC Vikings Live. But of course, a fair bit of stoppage time likely to be added as a result of the injury delay to Bailey Hirschberg. Wishing her the absolute best after an injury and a period of time with the trainers that looks for sure a bit concerning. Mr. Zaragoza, speaking of concerning, my goodness, Diana Ruiz absolutely trucked at the center circle. Correction, Sierra Rosemont, rather. Goes down very hard on a shoulder. Luckily, she pops right back up, but that is the 5th foul whistled in today's encounter against the Cabrillo Seahawks. From just behind the eye of the Seahawk in the midfield stripe, Lily Underwood takes the free kick short to Rodas on the left side. Up ahead to Trujillo, trying to dribble through a defender. She's had a few nutmegs this season. In fact, 2 of her 3 goals have come, or rather 1 of her goals and 1 of her assists have come in the aftermath of megging a player, so you can understand why she's trying to do it. This time around finds Walden with a good pass. Quick one-touch ball for Esquivias, or rather Alina Rodriguez. We have not had a substitution if Walden's still in. Unlikely Esquivias has come back. Ball up ahead here. Miyazaki leaves it back for Ninkovic, who tries to refeed Mickey up the right sideline. Nothing doing. Throw in to come. Horobin doing battle with Miyazaki. A little bit of a shove at the end of that one. Mickey turns back, and the Hakodate native wondering what was that about. Strout and Marixa Rodriguez, the rest of that forward line to the right of the newly reinserted Victoria Horobin. Vikings right now playing keep away with those players as Ninkovic now loops the ball forward, and that is going to be chested down by Ruiz. Up ahead looking for Alina. Puts a decent bit of pressure on the center back, Jassi Karkner. She's forced to play it out the right sideline from Cabrillo's perspective, and so DVC will take a throw in from about 15 yards from the byline, left side of their attack. Trujillo will drop it back to Rodas to get a quick restart. Rodas scoots around one defender, tries to put a ball in at the top of the box. Too deep for Ruiz, not far enough for Walden. Cleared away in front of the Viking player bench. Scoreless encounter here through 41 minutes and change. Cabrillo College playing a much less flat back line than Chabot did 4 days ago, as the throw-in is contested and played out off-white this time. Cabrillo to take it from their defensive third. Ahead to Cresswell, double team comes, DVC come away with the ball. Trujillo trying again to step around a player, unable to beat them on the dribble. Up comes Ninkovic from the defensive position to claim the ball at midfield, and nice work by Miyazaki to play it to the feet of Walden. Walden trying to work around Flores. Gets a touch to it, but Flores will find the outlet behind her of Victoria Weiss. Up ahead to Horobin. Forward and deflected, and DVC will claim. Hicks, Ninkovic, back to Hicks. Now Mickey Miyazaki puts this into space for Walden, but a little quicker to it is Jassi Karkner. Her ball forward is going to stay in play, and Ninkovic protecting it and absorbs a shove in the back from Horobin. Kind of surprised not to hear a whistle for a free kick. Instead, Vikings take the throw-in rather quickly. Rosemont's ball up ahead, intercepted by Cresswell, but she gets stuck in and takes it away from her. Rosemont this time stays down, however, and to the frustration of Cabrillo, the attack comes to a close, and Rosemont has not moved. Now does roll onto her back. A little chippy in the last handful of minutes as the Vikings deep-lying playmaker and attack wrecking ball hit the ground very hard under the challenge of Cresswell. We'll see whether this is a drop ball or whether a foul is given. Casey Trujillo having a conversation with the official about that, and it is indeed a free kick. It's a very late whistle, so I think Cabrillo initially thought that he had elected not to play advantage at a time when, or for that matter, had elected to stop for the injury at a time when they had an attack developing. In fact, it's called back for the foul in attack. Miyazaki claims the ball, steps around one defender, but it is Cresswell again claiming. Drops it back under pressure from Rodriguez to Gonzalez. Up ahead, just evading the reach of Trujillo, but Ruiz takes it, leaves it for Rodas. Accelerates up the left sideline, forward for Trujillo. Can't quite get a touch, leaves it for Rodriguez, tries to heel flick that, comes to Alina. She will fire, and that's going to be a bit docile. Might have taken a deflection on the way through, as both the scoreboard clock and the one here on DVC Vikings Live Radio come to a close, or come to a stop, rather, at the 2-minute mark. Waiting for the whistle of Paul Zaragoza to let us know that it's time to go in for the halftime break. It may be a little while. Miyazaki claims the ball, steps around one defender, now trying to get around again the 19 Knight. Forward for Alina. Working against the number 17, Karkner. Has it claimed from in front of her and cleared. It's now Rodas working in the midfield. And held by the 18, Marixa Rodriguez. Another foul called, and I think you can probably hear the displeasure of the Cabrillo faithful. That foul count now 7-1. But apparently the displeasure of Cailin Mullins has led to a yellow card being shown the other way. We'll check that at the break or see if we hear it from our match official, but likely that the call was, hey, she had a handful of jersey, that should be a yellow card to the Cabrillo player. And likely some frustration over the players that have been hitting the ground hard. Cailin Mullins may have said one of the handful of things that you can't, and has picked herself up a yellow here, to my recalling the first of the season. Referee walking back over to the DVC bench, and another card being shown. Unclear who that one is to. We may have a discussion in the near future. That one might be for Cristobal Rodas. Paul Zaragoza has shown 2 yellow cards. One maybe to a player, one for sure to the bench. We'll get updates for that at halftime and let you know what exactly just transpired. Either way, Vikings do still have a free kick for the foul. That took place about 12 yards across the midfield stripe. Referee still talking to Cristobal Rodas. Perhaps saying, I need to invite you back on the field. She may have come off at one point. The free kick taken very flat to the edge of the box. Repelled. Ninkovic claims it, tries to roll that to the feet of Diana Ruiz. Nothing doing, but the ball is claimed instead by Rosemont. After a brief deflection by Cabrillo, here is Underwood on the left side. Lilly has it taken off of her foot. Cresswell, after picking the pocket of her opposing captain, rolls that forward to the feet of Harobin, trying to spring Harobin now after a couple of one-touch moves by her and Strout. Ball now played out by Ninkovic. Cabrillo looking for a big finish. Last time the Vikings were here in Aptos, the lone goal of the encounter did come just before halftime. It was off the foot of Julia Curran back in 2015 in a match that ended 1-0 to the green and white. Vikings have managed to escape from danger, though. The ball played well up the field to the right side, and DVC with some frustration over some chippy play, and of course likely a bit of fatigue as they run just 12 deep today. Unforced error, though, by Cabrillo as a ball played to the right sideline of their defense. Not corralled by Gonzalez in time to keep it from going out of play. Throw in to come. It'll be Cristobal Rodas to take it in a moment. Vikings in no hurry. Coming up to claim is the newly reinserted Carol Esquivias. Nope, correction, Alina Rodriguez. I saw the 7. I saw the 7. I intuited the 1. If I were any closer, I doubt I'd be able to mistake those two for each other, but from up here, a little challenging. I think they both like the sleeves rolled up look. Throw into the feet of Alina Rodriguez. Right back to Rodas. Drop back here, Trujillo. Long diagonal ball, Miyazaki. Walled off by the defender, the midfielder, Victoria Harobin, in a defensive role. Looking at some man-to-man sort of defense here as she followed Miyazaki all the way back behind the penalty dot. And that is going to do it here. We hit the halftime break, and the Vikings and Seahawks remain level at 0-0. Your statistical reset here, Vikings with 3 shots to Cabrillo's 2, each team with 1 shot on goal, and therefore Zuniga in the sky blue and Correa in the gold and black, 1 save apiece. The foul count rather eye-popping, 7-1. Cabrillo with more of those. DVC with the lone corner kick of today's encounter. But the 2 yellow cards, both going the way of DVC. We'll try to get you a little more information about exactly who they were shown to at the break. In the meanwhile, while we wait for more game action, we're going to resume that tradition from last season and continue to bring you exciting local music here on DVC Vikings Live Halftime, partnering with the KVHS weekly radio show, The Beat of Diablo, hosted by Dave Hughes, this time with a proper QR code that is functional to send you to his website if you take a look at the graphics in just a moment. But Dave spends his time digging up the best the Bay has to offer, and so you're going to get a little taste of his Sunday radio show right now. Again, your score from Aptos, California, 0-0 after 45. We'll see you back here in 15. Take it away, Dave.
This is Dave Hughes, and you're listening to select cuts from my weekly show, The Beat of Diablo, here on DVC Vikings Live Halftime. If you want to hear more local music, tune in this Sunday and every Sunday at 7 p.m. to Concord's iconic student-built 90.5 KVHS, Concord Rock City.
What did I say? To make you turn my way? Was it the way I smiled? Made you stay for a while. You had my heart right from the start. Nobody loves like you do. All in my head, started as friends. Nobody loves like you do. You show me what love is, but I never knew. Nobody gon' love me like you do. Nobody loves like you do. How did you know, baby? Thoughts of you I can't let go. Boy, I just can't deny how you make me feel so alive. Been no love before, now I want more. Nobody loves like you do. Now I can see you're all I need. Nobody loves like you do. You show me what love is, but I never knew. Nobody gon' love me like you do. Nobody love like you do. Nobody love like nobody. Nobody love like nobody. Nobody love like nobody love like you do. Nobody love like hey. Nobody love like nobody. Nobody love like nobody love like you do. Show me what love is, but I never knew.
90.5 KVHS.
Lots to look forward to this coming week in Vikings land, folks. Volleyball gets their home slate underway on Wednesday, 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. I believe the Merced-Mendocino matchup between the two visitors in between the two matchups for the green and white, and they'll do the same on Friday as they host Los Medanos and Ohlone. Also taking on Ohlone this week, men's water polo in one of their games at the Antilla tournament in Stockton. They're in business on Friday at 10:10 against the Renegades. They'll face off with Modesto on Saturday. Other games in that tournament currently a mystery, waiting for them to update on the cccaasports.org website. Of course, of most interest to all of us, there's soccer against Skyline. That coming up on Friday at 12:30 p.m. That'll be right here again live on DVC Vikings Live Radio. And football makes the trip to American River College on Saturday for their first roadie. We'll tell you all about how those programs, as well as women's water polo and cross country, who are idle this week, are doing over the course of our second half here on DVC Vikings Live as we take you around the horn. But as of right now, we're going to take you around the first half of action. DVC and Cabrillo 0-0, the tie right now. The 15 minutes on the scoreboard have just elapsed. DVC are in their pregame huddle. Cabrillo at the moment gathered over by the corner flag. DVC in front of their own bench. But this Cabrillo team still in search of their first goal of the season after a 2-0 loss to Cañada on opening day and an 8-0 defeat at the hands of the Vikings conference mates in Sierra. Of course, very different level of opposition potentially, although the Vikings will be aspiring to be in that Cañada and Sierra tier. They just haven't been tested quite like that so far this season. DVC, of course, 3-0 after victories last week. And a reminder of what those looked like. Vikings 8-0 over Woodland with 4 goals from Suhani Singh, who is unavailable for today's action. But she's got 8 of the Vikings 17 on the season. Esquivias, Rosemont, Trujillo, Lopez Real getting on the score sheet as well. Carol with 3 assists. And then Casey turning both goal scorer and assist woman against Chabot over the weekend in the span of about 4 minutes. Carol Esquivias with a banger from distance. Make sure you're following DVCW Soccer on Instagram to get eyes on all of those goals and pick your favorite. Social media maven and assistant coach Sam Lubasic making sure things are taken care of on there. Vikings have splayed out onto the field, and Cabrillo are doing so right now. It will be the Seahawks kicking off to open up the second half of action, going left to right across your YouTube progress bar. They, of course, in the black home strip, DVC in white over black over white. And we prepare for the start of action here in this second half. A 0-0. Vikings lead on shots 3-2. Both teams have brought 1 save out of their opposing keeper. There's the whistle of Mr. Paul Zaragoza, and we are underway here again with second half action. The lineup at the moment is how the teams finished the first half. We'll let you know if there are any adjustments to make to that, but Hannah Walden is still out on the pitch for the green and white, and I don't see Carol Esquivias, so that one would seem to be accurate. DVC taking a ball away, however, right now on the left side of the middle third. Casey Trujillo dribbles through 3 defenders now, takes a rip with the instep, a little bit ambitious, perhaps a little bit speculative there from roughly 25 yards. Easy prey, but the Vikings do immediately author their second shot on goal and 4th shot of the game. The big eye-opening thing here is the foul count sitting at 7-1, and perhaps that, the abuse that Coach Cailin Mullins felt her team was taking, and for that matter, Sierra Rosemont might have felt was being taken. Rosemont, to our best of our knowledge, the one who took the yellow card of the players, and then Cailin Mullins, or the bench as a whole, picking up a yellow card as well. It's the best we can get here from Mark Ramsey. We'll let you know, of course, next time around if yellow card accumulation becomes an issue, whether we were correct on that assessment. But for the time being, that's what we've got. The referees are all the way on the other side of the field. Cabrillo currently in possession, taking a ball away after battling for it with the Vikings. Here's a diagonal ball from the left side of the midfield. That is going to require Correa to come out, and she puts a strong boot through it, despite the on-rushing attacker for Cabrillo. That was, in fact, Victoria Harobin, who has swapped sides of the field. She is now on the right side. Haley Medina is seeing her first action, the number 6. She appears to be, at the moment, the center of the attacking trident, or perhaps the left side with Layla Knight again in the middle of the 19. Cresswell and Ramirez remain out there, as well as Strout as the midfield trio. And here's a loose ball in the back, and trying to shoot up the gut is Alina Rodriguez. Unable to get past the arrival of the 8, Andrea Gonzalez. Your center back pairing in the absence of Hirschberg, who left with an injury around the 35-minute mark, is Victoria Weiss and Jossie Karkner. Aneli Flores remains in the game as the left back, so it would appear Medina is the only change, and we'll go by process of elimination eventually here and let you know in place of who. Since Layla Knight is in the game, it would appear to be Marixa Rodriguez that is not currently involved. And so we'll put Haley Medina in that spot. And there we go. Should get the job done. Throw in for the Vikings from the left side. Appreciate them taking a little bit of time with that to give me a moment to find those things out. Ball is to the chest of Trujillo after a touch from Rodriguez. She tries to put in a diagonal ball for the run of Miyazaki. A little too strong, a little too far to the left. And Zuniga is out to claim. She's got 2 saves on the day. Long ball is out in front of the player benches, and it's a DVC throw in. Crowd doesn't love it. It is taken quickly, however, by Ninkovic to the feet of Miyazaki. She loses it to the challenge of Cresswell out in front of the Cabrillo bench. Vikings gain 10 yards. Given our current location on a football field, first down. And they pick up another 10 as Strout heads that one out of play. Another throw in to come. Ninkovic just chewing up yardage right now. Has to chase that one up the accessibility ramp towards the stands that sit behind the player benches. Throw in this time is back to Sierra Rosemont. She'll drop this into the center circle. That requires Wood to get on her horse a little bit as Haley Medina, the fresh legs, was putting an attack on her. Does get it to Maila Hicks. Forward to Miyazaki. Miyazaki spins around 2 defenders. Not able to make any progress, but does hold possession. Now back to Ninkovic, and now all the way back to Hicks. Underwood calling for it. Woman with the captain's armband taking charge. Enters the center circle, draws a couple defenders, now leaves that for Rosemont. Medina on her back, and Medina will take it away right inside the center circle. Drop back to Cresswell, an immediate attempt to feed it forward into the center for Knight. Cut away. Ruiz under the foot of a defender. Miyazaki absorbs a shove in the back. 8th Cabrillo foul. DVC free kick to come from about 50 yards away from goal. Make it 52.8. I love hash marks. Ninkovic loops this over the first line of defense. It is brought down by Layla Knight. Diana Ruiz challenging for it. She got into the body of Knight to an extent that it almost looked like she was playing football for a second. The American variety, of course. Haley Medina retains possession. Ball now up to the midfield stripe. Drop back into the defense for Cabrillo. Monsi Ramirez has been playing that deep-lying 6 role despite wearing the number 9. Would look right if she stood on her head, obviously. Would be the right number. She brings some stability back to the Seahawks. The ball to the feet of the keeper. Now out to the right side, and a ball from the 17 Karkner is knocked down by Alina Rodriguez. DVC trying to control. Trujillo, a nice touch to find Rodriguez. Tries to get it through Karkner and can't. Gets back onto the ball. Physical challenge here, about 30 yards from goal, now about 40. As it's dropped back to Rodas, who spins it forward to the chest of Trujillo. 30 yards from goal right now. And dropped all the way back to Ninkovic with some space. She looks for an aerial threat, but it's too long and is going to go straight over the back line. Diana Ruiz was getting off to a run. But the ball a touch overcooked. So As they get ready to take this goal kick, we'll give you a little bit of around the horn coverage. And volleyball, we mentioned before, gets back into action. They are 2-1 behind some star performances so far this season from the likes of Daniela Walker leading in kills and hit percentage, and Nadia Novichkova, who leads the team in digs. They're in action both tomorrow and Friday with tri-series against Merced and Mendocino, and then against Los Medanos and Ohlone. Looking forward to a little more action on the home hardwood for Jackie Ponciano Babs women. 2 wins to start the season. They've got a rather extended losing streak inside the Big 8 conference that they'll be looking to break, as they appear to have some quality right now, and certainly some moxie, you might say, if you were born in the 1940s. But the way they dealt with going down in their opener 2-0 against Las Positas, and came back from a series of very, very tight sets to win that 1 in 5, and then turned around and swept Yuba before falling to Shasta in the 3rd encounter of their season. It's a Viking throw-in just in front of their player bench, which is now the right side of their defense after it being the left side of their attack in the first half. Cabrillo take the ball away. They're in the left side of their attack. Cresswell crossing, but that is not going to have the requisite hook, and will go straight out the back line before it reaches Denise Correa's frame. Certainly had a pause earlier that might have indicated a substitution, but I did not see any change in personnel. I'll let you know if I spot it in a little bit. Right now, it is Sadie Strout working her way up the left side. Vikings repel it, but it's out for a throw on the left wing. That throw in, though, straight to the head of a Cabrillo forward and back out for a Viking throw. There's a ball taken away after the throw in here by DVC. Launched forward, Trujillo's header is going to carry out in front of the DVC bench, protected by Aneli Flores. Ten minutes just about gone in this second half. So far, the only real action, a Trujillo shot from distance just a few moments in, as Ruiz challenging for a ball that was very nearly sat on by Savannah Cresswell. She wants something from the referee and is turning and talking to her coach, actually, at the moment. Don't know that she got satisfaction in any way, shape, or form there. Ball ladled over the top, looking for the run of Harobin down the right wing. Protected nicely by Rodas, but not able to keep it off of her. She does come back, though, and rob Layla Knight blind, as she had claimed the ball from Harobin. Here's a shot from distance from Cresswell on one hop. Very similar to what we saw earlier from Trujillo, and with that, Cabrillo even up the shots on goal count at 2-2. 4-3 overall on shots. Vikings elect to play this one out of the back, and it's a little bit of a lazy ball into the midfield. Too long for Sierra Rosemont. Claimed by Knight. Drop back now to Cresswell. Gonzalez at the midfield stripe, far over to the right, tries to open for Harobin. No such luck. Out for a Viking throw. Rodas will put this one in up the left sideline. One touch from Ruiz, and now Rodriguez trying to battle for it. Going up against the 8, Andrea Gonzalez, sophomore out of Seba Prep. Started 13 matches last season. Ball put into play at the feet of Alina. Again repelled by Gonzalez, and another Viking throw, this one from about 5 yards further forward. Another throw to come up the left side here for DVC after a short pause. Rodriguez and Trujillo battling for it, but it'll be Harobin coming away. Her ball forward reflected by Rosemont back to her head. Trying to come forward for Ruiz. Doing battle with Monsi Ramirez in the center. Ramirez will launch it forward, deflected away by a DVC player, and another throw to come here in a moment. Before that, however, a substitution, and it'll be Cresswell coming out. Perhaps that is what was being discussed earlier. The free kick here, or rather the long ball. Look out here, opportunity inside the box as it's battled for between the newly reinserted Marixa Rodriguez and the DVC defense. Luckily there, amidst a crowd of bodies, Vikings able to clear it. And now it is brought forward, Trujillo trying to spray it out wide for Walden, but Walden was cutting in. Ball looking for her to peel off to the far right side. Take the opportunity while we wait for the throw-in to tell you a little bit about women's water polo, who got their season underway. Drew one game with Golden West 10-10. Otherwise, same sort of fate that men's water polo suffered against those nasty SoCal teams the weekend before. But worth shining some light on some players that had good weekends. Sophia Goodson, 11 goals and 3 assists over the course of the weekend. And Chloe Pappas, Madeline Lasquete, and Lauren Cagayong, all multiple goal scorers, 5, 4, and 3 respectively. Pappas and Lasquete earning hat tricks against Golden West and Fullerton respectively. They'll be in action with their first Big 8 match on the road at Modesto on the 18th. A reminder, they'll be playing the first 4 Wednesdays of October in a row at the newly refurbished DVC pool. Cabrillo have earned a throw-in up the left sideline as we are just about done the opening quarter of an hour of this second frame. Shadows creeping in at the far sideline right now as the throw-in is held by Cabrillo. Work now to Monsi Ramirez at the right side. She takes aim from distance, and it is played onto the bar by Denise Correa. Got a strong left hand to it, and it banks off the crossbar. Best whistle anyone's had at a legitimate attack so far today. Most of the shots have been speculative at best. The eventual deflection has furthermore earned Cabrillo their first corner kick. And that is taken quickly, looping towards the back post. Another good, strong hand to it from Denise Correa. The ball cleared by DVC. It's out the back for another corner. Cabrillo certainly the brighter of the two sides in the last 5 to 10 minutes. Somewhat remarkably now without Cresswell on the field, who had been their engine to this point. Corner kick hit in and immediately repelled by Lily Underwood. Reflected and pushed up the right sideline, and Casey Trujillo is going to beat everybody to that in front of the DVC player bench. Stays on her feet, may well have been held, now plays that off of a defender into the Cabrillo bench. We get a sense that there is at least some bit of DVC cheering section here, because that was some loud approval. Either that or just people who really love ball. Sadie Strout locked in battle with Diana Ruiz on her back. She'll drop it back into her defense. 61st minute, 0-0. But just moments ago, the rip from distance from Monsi Ramirez played onto the crossbar with the strong left hand of Denise Correa. Cabrillo continue to possess in their defense right now, looking maybe to calm the heart rate just a touch. On the foot at the moment of Jossie Karkner. Now 2 DVC players look to encircle, Layla Knight. Briefly looked like they were going to get it. They do manage to work a throw-in. Cristabel Rodas just beneath the stands here. Ready to put this in from about 40 yards from goal. She'll launch it up the sideline, reflected by Gonzalez. Another Viking throw a few yards further forward. This time trying to bypass Gonzalez, gets it to Hannah Walden. She'll take a rip from the top of the box. Fades wide of the goal to the left and is knocked down by the Seahawk keeper. Vikings now lead in shots 5-4, but Cabrillo, the 3-2 lead in shots on frame at this point. One of them played quite literally onto the frame by Denise Correa. Trying to accelerate up the right side is Victoria Horobin. She won't be able to keep the ball in play, though, as she looked to work around Rodas up that sideline. Throw in to come in a moment for the green and white. Brief pause here, perhaps a little conversation with the center official, Paul Zaragoza. Throw in up the sideline for Rodas. Walden cut off by the arrival of Karkner first, out into the stands for a throw. Throw in comes to the feet of Walden, works it through Karkner, but doesn't quite reach Trujillo. But the attempted pass out of the back from Ramirez finds Ruiz. She gets locked in a tangle with Ramirez. Now puts in a foot to try to take the ball away from Flores and does not manage to. Getting off to a run and now cutting inside is Strout. Leaves that for Layla Knight, trying to accelerate through the back line of the DVC Vikings. Now back again to Strout. Strout working laterally, a sliding challenge, clean from Alina Rodriguez. No foul whistled. The ball cleared away here by DVC, and that's going to go out at the near sideline for a Cabrillo throw. And we'll take the moment to tell you a little bit about cross country, who got underway with their season for the Vikings this past weekend. That taking place in Clovis early Friday morning. A push in the back by Horobin, who is unimpressed with the decision of the official. Foul number 9 on the day for Cabrillo, and the free kick is taken short by Rodas to the feet of Alina Rodriguez. Out after a touch from Strout, another throw for DVC. Women finished 6th as a team, men 9th at that Clovis Invitational. Alana Sevier, the top finisher for the green and white in the women's race. Alan Solari takes that honor for the Vikings and was the top finisher overall for any of DVC's individual competitors at 8th position. They'll be in action at the Twilight Invitational, the Kyle Robinson Twilight Invitational at Santa Rosa on September 27th. Otherwise, just simply lying in wait and preparing for their next opportunity for the rest of the month of September. Throw in taken by the Vikings. Rodas looking for Walden up the sideline. That is out into touch off of the foot of the red-haired number 21 in white. Ruiz throws a shoulder there into Sadie Strout. And the foul has been given against Cabrillo, and I'm starting to understand perhaps where some of the Seahawk crowd frustration is coming. That one could have gone either way, but probably should have gone against Diana. The Vikings, at least by my count, have been whistled for a foul exactly once in today's encounter, and it has gotten chippier and chippier as we've gone. This one over the shoulder of Rodriguez as well as Gonzalez. Alina trying to hold the ball in play, and it does look like she's managed to get a touch off Karkner, and that's going to be the second corner kick of the day for the Vikes, coming here in minute number 66. It'll be Casey Trujillo to take it from the left side. We have not seen Carol Esquivia since she came off the field for Hannah Walden about halfway through the first period. She usually takes them from that corner. It will be Trujillo. She takes it short to Rodas. Now back to Trujillo. Lofted into the 18. Goes by everybody. Took a bounce inside the box. Rosemont chases it down, trying to drop it back for a teammate, but the pressure from the Seahawks prevents her from doing so. It's out for a Cabrillo throw. To the body of Strout. Tries to launch one forward. Does not take a deflection. She clearly believes it did. Holds her arms out in frustration. Either that or thought she was shoved. Ball's out in the stands, retrieved by one of the Cabrillo subs, I believe. Throw-in will come in a moment. There does appear to be a substitute in a penny getting ready to enter for Cabrillo. Nothing doing just yet, though, as the throw-in is to the Vikings. Spun by Walden in the direction of the top of the 18, reflected and out into the Cabrillo player bench. Throw-in to come. Half of half number 2 gone. Throw-in past a Cabrillo defender to the foot of Miyazaki. Held here, Miyazaki works through the arrival of 2 defenders after a touch from Ruiz. Drop back to Ninkovic. This one played, and it gets through a defender. Here's Trujillo from the edge of the box. Fires wide left by maybe a foot or 2. Perhaps the best look the Vikings have had at goal. Their 6th shot, but they've only managed to put 2 of them on frame. One of them was stung, but from a tough angle. That by Carlos Esquivias back in the first half. The other one right after the restart. Casey Trujillo, very central. Cabrillo, on the other hand, had just 1 shot on goal. That sort of docile variety in the first half. They've challenged Correa twice, though, here in the second, and one of them has hit the woodwork. Cabrillo trying to build up the right side. Lily Underwood back in pursuit as Haley Medina chases after it as well. Lily gets there first. Wood plays it to the feet of Rodas. Cristobal, step over. Works her way around Gonzalez. Approval from the crowd. You gotta like that no matter who you are. Up the left side for Alina. Rodriguez, 20 yards from goal. Hits the brakes. Drops it back for Trujillo. Trujillo slides it towards the top of the 18. Nobody in there for the Vikings. Ruiz hadn't gotten there yet. Walden was too central for that. Cleared away, that one slicing out into the stands. And a throw in to come here for the green and white. Just about 5 yards shy of the midfield stripe here on the near sideline. More around the horn coverage for you here. DVC football underway for the season. They played their first game on DVC Vikings Live from the home stadium. First game of the Jimmy Collins era. They do finish with a defeat to the Rams. A little poetic, given that the Rams of City College are who Jimmy Collins departed from. But a few top performers there. David Piero with 7 receptions for 86 yards. And Cade Young catching the lone touchdown for the Vikings. It's a shot from way out on 2 hops by Sadie Strout. Very hopeful. It is the 4th shot on goal and 5th overall taken by Cabrillo, but no problem there for Correa. The Vikings did get on top in that first football game of the season. Teddy Burris hitting Cade Young for a 15-yard strike late in the first half and went to the break up 7-6 after Fresno responded. Scored a touchdown 90 seconds from halftime, but missed the PAT. But it would be 2 fourth-quarter scores for the Rams that would put them over the top. And American River College is the next stop for DVC, as they'll be there Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. in the capital. Just under 20 minutes to go in our encounter here. Longest that a DVC game this year has gone, with 0s on the scoreboard. It's a ball up the right sideline, picked off by Milan Ninkovic. Steps around a defender, but a bit too hard of a knock-on. And it's going to be a double sub here for Cabrillo. So they bring in Nunez and Cresswell back into the game. May take us a second to figure out who they brought off, and so the scoreboard is going to look a little funny for a moment. DVC, however, immediately on the attack after the throw-in. Put a ball up the right wing, reflected by Zuniga. Now claimed here by the Vikings in the midfield. Spinning is Rosemont. Sliding challenge between her and Cresswell. Sierra first back onto her feet and with the ball. Up ahead now. Walden nudged off the ball. That'll be a foul. 11th. Gave back roughly as good as she got for a moment there, but does not hold on to, or does ends up gaining possession for the green and white. I'm going to take those 2 off just so that the so the graphic doesn't look insane. We'll figure out who came off for them in a little bit. In the meanwhile, DVC with a free kick. Ball sitting on the 35-yard line, so 45 yards from goal, just outside the right hash marks. This ball floating toward the 18, off the head of Walden. Repelled slightly here by the left back. Now taken by Rodas. Loops the ball in toward the head of Trujillo, who heads it on toward frame. It'll go down as shot number 7. It was always going wide. Long ball from Zuniga. Takes one touch from DVC, and it's all the way back to Correa. Now Wood into the midfield under the boot of Cresswell. Pushed forward now by Cabrillo, and up steps Maila Hicks, but she put a hand to that ball, and it'll be a free kick for Cabrillo, 30 yards from goal. Calls to bomb it. This one just outside the left hash marks of the football field. 30 yards, definitely a position where some damage could be done. Here comes the free kick, trying for goal, and it is in the back of the net, off the boot of Sadie Strout. First goal of the season for Cabrillo College. Just the second conceded by DVC. And it is Sadie Strout in minute number 74. Absolutely the kind of opportunity you couldn't give a team like Cabrillo there. And with that, DVC trail for the first time in 2024. We had a sense this would be a very even encounter, a DVC team that has been obliterating teams slightly below their station, it would appear, versus a club in Cabrillo that has been challenging themselves and has got the bruises and lumps to prove it. Vikings quickly on the attack again here, and it's Alina Rodriguez working against Gonzalez. Rodriguez has it cleared away from her feet by the overlap of the center back Weiss. That, I believe, went out the sideline and will be a DVC throw-in rather than a corner kick. But we'll take a look here in just a moment. Have the confirmation, by the way, it is Medina and Flores that left the game in place of Cresswell and Nunez. Ball currently on the foot of Lily Underwood. About 25 yards from goal. She drops the ball back in the direction of Rosemont and showed too much of it to the Cabrillo defense. And look out here, DVC in danger of being found out. Their defenders crashing back, and it's the pressure of Sierra Rosemont that'll take the ball away and not just arrest Cabrillo's attack, but give DVC a chance to get something going. She is bullied to ground. Advantage played here as DVC recover the ball. Hicks knocked to ground as well in the center circle. Advantage continues to be played. Miki Miyazaki working up the right side. Cresswell plays it off of her. Last touched by the 7 in black, a throw in to come. Two opportunities that without doubt would have been fouls and free kicks for DVC, except they held possession through them. Ball at the right side, just in front of Cabrillo's player bench. Far sideline, Vikings with the throw. Ninkovic has it reflected back to her. Tries to ladle one in towards the box. Knocked away by Monsi Ramirez. She'll elect to drop it back to Zuniga. Final quarter of an hour of today's action. Vikings trail 1-0. On the goal by Sadie Strout. Free kick in minute number 74. In a game where the Vikings have given away so few of those. Just one foul whistled against them. That is, I believe, the second handball. And they have been offside once or twice as well, but first real dangerous set piece of the game. And Cabrillo have taken full advantage. Goal kick by Correa. Knocked up in the air and settled by Miyazaki. Tries to bring it forward for Ruiz. Picked off here by the defense of Cabrillo. Ball into the center circle. Too long for Ramirez. But her teammate Knight there to clean it up. Cresswell. Back into the center defense and now out to Gonzalez. Immediately back into Ramirez. Up the right sideline. In pursuit, Marixa Rodriguez. Working against Rodas. Earns the byline. Collides with Cristabel. Cristabel keeps her feet. Keeps the ball. launches it up the sideline. It's Gonzalez first to it for Cabrillo. Her ball forward reflected more authoritatively by Wood. Here's a ball forward, and that is popped up in the air by a Cabrillo defender, and it's a foot race. Can Trujillo beat the defender to it? Ball rattling around, and it's cleared from in front of Casey's feet. Clear handball there by Miki Miyazaki, and it'll be a free kick in favor of Cabrillo. They take it quickly. Zaragoza, the match official, needs to get the heck out of the way and let Cabrillo play. Ball now on the foot of Layla Knight. Forward, looking for Hicks. Stabs that straight into the body of a Cabrillo player, and now sprayed out to the right side for Marixa Rodriguez. In battle again here with Lily Underwood. Finds a teammate, but that teammate encircled by two Vikings. Ball taken off and cleared. Only as far as the center circle. Now on the foot of Ramirez. Quickly left, now right. Loses Rodriguez, now fires from distance, but that's right into the body of Denise Correa. 7-7. Shots are even today, but the main difference has been the quality of those shots, whether they've gotten them on frame. Cabrillo leading in that category 6-2. Trujillo trying to turn her way around a Cabrillo defender. She does, but can't hold the ball in play, pinned to that far sideline. Throw in popped up in the air by Nunez. Now a change of the point of attack, and that is going to be a wild attempt to find Marixa Rodriguez all the way over here on the right side. It slices on the pass deliverer and goes out for a Viking throw here at the near sideline. And we'll take the chance for our last little check-in with Around the Horn coverage. Water polo picked up their first, men's water polo, picked up their first victory of the season as they competed at the Nyquist tournament over this past weekend at West Valley. They got it over Merced by a 20-14 score. Fell later on in the day to Cerritos 18-7. Daniel Hollander and Keegan Darcy, 8 goals apiece between the two games on Friday. They'll be at the Antilla tournament, or Antilla. I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. I cannot find guidance on that. In Stockton, starting this Friday against Ohlone. Ball in possession of Cabrillo with about 11 minutes to go in today's encounter. Was in the center circle, now dropped back to the defense, and now bullied off by Casey Trujillo. Tries to knock it back for Ruiz, but she wasn't where she thought she was. Perhaps the late afternoon shadows playing a little havoc. An attempt to change the point of attack all the way to the right side, and it works. Over the foot of Rodas. Here comes Rodriguez at full stretch. Denise Correa with a save. And she'll hold on to it. 8th Seahawks shot. First time they've led in that category today. 7-2 the advantage in shots on goal. Vikings need a little quality, but they are, of course, dealing with some tired legs. It's been the same 11 out there for the better part now of 50 minutes. Ball forward to Miyazaki at the right sideline. A team lacking Sofia Lopez Real, along with the Ognian twins at the moment. Along with Callista Rubel, along with, of course, their leading scorer, Suhani Singh. Trujillo currently on a streak of 3 consecutive games to start the season with a goal on the board. Would love to extend that in the final 10 minutes of this one. Alina Rodriguez taking the ball off the foot of her, nope, not the opposing Rodriguez. It was Layla Knight, rather. Alina bodies up Monsi. Tries to drop the ball for Wood, but she shows too much of it to Angelique Nunez. Forward here, and Strout throws a DVC player to the ground as she hits the brakes. Miyazaki tries to put a foot in. Strout sidesteps it. Strout now dribbling through 2 DVC midfielders. She takes rip from distance, but that's going well wide left and straight over the back line. Substitution in the meanwhile. And it'll be the goal scorer, Sadie Strout, leaving the match. And she is replaced by the 12, Victoria Horobin, who I thought was on the field beforehand. Rutrow. Yeah, maybe doing this live updated roster was not the brilliant idea I thought it was. It's not so hard to see who comes into the game, but very often the player who comes off leaves off of one weird corner of the field, or they're just so far away and they put the penny on too fast. You're just kind of left grasping at it if no one's announcing it. Here's a ball hoofed forward. Foot race here for Sierra Rosemont, who's come all the way up into the attack. But she's not able to make it before the arrival of Zuniga. The number 2 in sky blue puts her foot through the ball. Knocked down by Ruiz. Can't hold it, though. Cresswell up ahead now, and that ball picked off by Milaninkovic, who has been sprightly at times here in today's game. Her ball forward for Trujillo, cut off. DVC rearranging their attack just a little bit, as it's now Rosemont and Walden up front. In the meanwhile, Cabrillo looking for one to remove all doubt. Launched forward for Marixa Rodriguez. She's in battle with Rodas. Earns the byline. May have kept that in. No signal from Mr. Mora, the AR on our sideline here. The clearance goes as far as Alina. Dribbles that through a defender. Played, I believe, off her. And a throw in to come here for Cabrillo. Well worked by Ramirez and Gonzalez. Throw in, headed forward by Cresswell. Marixa can't hold it here. It'll be Alina receiving the immediate Viking throw in from Wood. Tries to drag that forward for Walden. Nothing doing. Ball dropped all the way back to the keeper. Rosemont looking to make it difficult. Sprayed out here and a bit too heavy of a touch from Karkner. Walden will take the throw immediately to the body of Rosemont at the top left corner of the box. Leaves us for Rodriguez. 30 yards away. Tries to drag that through the arrival of a defender. And we've got an injury here on the field. Uh-oh. A very awkward fall. I believe that was Savannah Cresswell, the captain, who dove her way through Rodriguez, stabbed with her right leg to put the ball out of play, and came down very awkwardly on the left one. We're going to hope that it's just a cramp. As a result of that, she asks for the leg to be held aloft. We will take the pause here with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left, with her teammate holding her leg up and hopefully just trying to relieve a bad case of cramps after that denial of any further advancement to Alina Rodriguez. We'll take a look again here at what's coming up in DVC athletics, and Cresswell does get back to her feet. Obviously favoring that leg. It'll be a throw-in a moment, and we'll pause on that, because we've got action here. The throw-in taken immediately and cleared from in front of Rodriguez. 3 black jerseys around her. And it's Marixa Rodriguez, rather Angelique Nunez, who takes the ball away from Rodas as she waited for it to come back down. Ball on a diagonal trying to find a teammate. It's going to be a shot from distance well wide by Knight. But it was Nunez trying to put in a curled diagonal ball to find Horobin. Maila Hicks got a touch to it to deny her. Then they tried to lay it off for Layla Knight, who drove from about 25 yards away and saw it hook wide. Correa's goal kick trapped at the sideline for a moment by DVC, then lost. Cabrillo tried to come forward. Ball loosened up. Here's Alina Rodriguez into the left side for Walden, who doesn't quite attack that ball strongly enough initially to deny it of Gonzalez. Ball now into the center circle for Cresswell inside 5 minutes to go. Once upon a time, back in 2015, this was called Vikings time. DVC had a penchant for scoring at times like this. At the moment, they are trying to pressure inside the box as Cabrillo moved the ball through their defense. On the foot of Karkner, forward Ramirez, now wide to the right back Gonzalez, and up ahead for Marixa Rodriguez. Central for Knight, trying to spray it up the right sideline for Rodriguez. Hits Alina and is out for a throw. It'll be Gonzalez to put this into play to the feet of Marixa Rodriguez. Up ahead again for the 18 in black. After it was initially repelled, now looks to take Rodas on the dribble. Good defensive position from Rodas, shielding her outside, but keeping the ability to cut back in if necessary. To the feet of Ramirez. Now sprayed out wide left. Horobin thought about a shot, blocked by Maila Hicks. And that one sticks to Maila's foot, and she might have a chance to try to spring. Blasted by Cresswell, who slides in. Does get a toe to it. Earns DVC a throw. Taken quickly by Hicks to the feet of Trujillo. Right at the sideline. Nudges that into space on the right side. Nobody there, though, right now for the green and white. Clearance, though, straight into the Cabrillo bench. Throw in to come for DVC. Long run up. Here comes Hicks to the body of Sierra. Pops this ball up. Punched away by a Cabrillo defender. Miyazaki to chase. May have gotten too heavy of a touch, and it does look like she inadvertently hauls down the Cabrillo midfielder, and that'll be a second yellow on the season, it appears, for Miki Miyazaki as the referee goes over to check on the aggrieved Cabrillo player. Nope, correction. Have not seen a card. Miyazaki had had a heavy first touch. The ball was heading out on the sideline. And a Cabrillo midfielder got there just ahead of Mickey to try to push it up the field, and instead of clipping the ball, Mickey clipped the player. That player is moved ever so slightly off the field there on what is going to go down as DVC's second whistled foul of the game. As I said, there have been handballs, there have been offsides, there have been other free kicks, but Cabrillo have been whistled quite a bit more for their physical play than the Vikings have been for theirs. The free kick immediately repelled by Ruiz and taken by Rosemont. And she's going to lay this over the right side for Trujillo, and no one tracked her. Here comes Casey, entering the 18 from the right side. Steps around one defender, fires with the left boot, saved by Zuniga. The clearance is going to come as far as Miyazaki, who keeps it for a moment for the Vikings, and now it's drilled very deep, and we're going end to end. Correa, a little indecisive. She gets there for a slide challenge in front of Nunez. What a play by Denise Correa. Unable to continue it, though. And now what's going to have to go down as a tactical foul by DVC, as Cabrillo claimed it at the far sideline. We'll try to reconstruct that, as the clock here at the stadium and on DVC Vikings Live Radio have both stopped on 2 minutes. Third foul and a yellow card issued, I believe, to Maila Hicks, but a good one to take there. Correa had come a good 30 yards out from goal. Had the slide challenge, tried to clear it, but didn't get enough on it. Cabrillo got the ball back, and as she was backtracking, Hicks taking the tactical foul and assuring that DVC wouldn't immediately give up a second. Here's the free kick, floated in, and it's right to the hands of Denise Correa. All eyes on Paul Zaragoza. Free kick headed right back in to the midfield. Popped up, though, by Lily Underwood into the center circle. Nicely managed by Hannah Walden, trying to free up Sierra Rosemont. Wood comes forward, absorbs contact. No foul given on that one. Ball sprayed to the left wing, held in play by Sadie Stout, the goal scorer. Throws what looked like a bit of a chicken wing into a DVC player. A defender there, but nothing shown this time either by Paul Zaragoza. Long ball forward. Alina Rodriguez doing battle. The foul given against Cabrillo. 12th of the day against the women in black. DVC will have a free kick from the center stripe, a time when you know they would absolutely love to have Callista Rubel available to put something deep in here. Of course, would have loved to have had Callista Rubel all day, if for no other reason than rotation. Ever since Esquivias departed at about the half-hour mark, it has been this 11 for the green and white. They fought valiantly, but they trail 1-0 in the final moments. A ball cleared partially. Recovered by Rodas, dribbling into the center, about 40 yards from goal. Two defenders collapse to her. Pokes that through the two of them, but cannot find happy feet. Long clearance. If it was hockey, you'd call it icing. Coach Cailin Mullins knows what I'm talking about. Claimed by Denise Correa at the edge of her 18. She uncorks a deep kick. Cresswell doing battle with Miyazaki. Ruiz the one to claim. Goes route one trying to find Rosemont. No dice. Ball to the feet of Cresswell inside the center circle. Back now to Karkner. Up ahead. Finds her teammate Layla Knight. Over to the right side for Gonzalez. Too heavy of a touch and shows it to Alina Rodriguez. Doing battle and a nice spin move by Gonzalez to stay in front of Alina and hold on to the ball, but the ball forward claimed by Rodas. Karkner knocks it down. Keeps it in play, but gives it away to Diana Ruiz at the center stripe. Long ball, big hop. Header from Weiss. Favors Trujillo to grab it 40 yards from goal. Casey trying to get off to a run down the right side. Shifty dribbling around Flores. Casey into the 18 from the right. Casey putting in the cross, knocked down by Weiss. The clearance is going to slice out over the back line. DVC will take their third corner kick. And it's last chance saloon here for the Vikes. Still haven't seen a signal for time from Mr. Zaragoza. Signaling something about the ball, making sure the Vikings get a good one here. DVC packing the box, just 2 players outside the 18 right now. Correa and Rodas. Underwood at the edge, as is Miyazaki. 2 women on the goal line. Runs coming from all over. Trujillo with the right boot will put it in from the right corner. Here's the ball, cleared partially by Cresswell, comes to Lily Underwood. She fires, and it won't quite dip down under the bar at the top left corner. 8th Viking shot to Cabrillo's 9, but the difference has been putting shots on frame. 7-2. The Seahawks lead on that count. And they may well be moments away from celebrating victory number 1 on the season and dealing the Vikings their first taste of defeat. Mr. Zaragoza says Zuniga needs to put this ball in. Alessandra waiting as long as she possibly can. Probably wouldn't care if she picked up a yellow. Goal kick takes one big hop over Miyazaki. Now a ball played forward in the direction of Nunez. Wood will claim it. Manages to play that off of the Cabrillo attacker and immediately takes the throw in over the top of one Cabrillo player to the feet of Miyazaki. Touched out. Another Viking throw from just across midfield. We'll see if there's enough time for DVC to build one more attack. Ball ahead, popped off Rosemont. Over the head of Miyazaki. Strout knocks it out of play near the Cabrillo player bench. Throw in to come. Over the top, Trujillo tries to hold it in. Again reflected. Vikings maintain possession from just in front of the player bench. Forward to Rosemont, who commits a handball. Popped up on her at a difficult angle. Had the arm out trying to defend against the physical presence of the defender behind her. Rosemont not quite far away enough for the free kick. Certainly when there are football lines, it's hard to argue that the referee just is seeing a short 10 yards. Coming together between Rosemont and Cresswell. Both players hit the deck, but Cresswell's the first one up. The Cabrillo captain changes the point of attack to Marixa Rodriguez all alone on the right side. She will now take on Cristabel Rodas on the dribble. Play continues. Ball dropped back to Hannah Walden. Hannah centrally trying to find Rosemont. From inside the center circle, sprayed out wide left. That is likely going to carry all the way over the far sideline. Still no final whistle forthcoming. DVC continue to search for an equalizer here in Aptos. Deep stoppage time. Long ball up the right side, nobody making a run onto it. Besides Victoria Weiss. Sierra Rosemont will try to make it difficult. Gets there, slide challenge. It's a throw in. Rosemont didn't get any of the player, it would appear, but also did in fact get a piece of the ball. Throw in for Aneli Flores. Referee takes a look at his watch. Flores takes the throw. Cleared into the midfield. Alina Rodriguez waiting for it. Pushes it forward. This one sprayed laterally. Ramirez tries to knock it down. Walden trying to claim it. Cleared now a bit more into the center of the park. Feet of Gonzalez. Up ahead, Marixa Rodriguez just across midfield and now working on Rodas. Has cover behind her. Now drops it to Nunez, who tries to refeed Marixa. Nice dummy played by Layla Knight, and it's going to come to Strout, looking for a second from the top of the box. Blocked there by Maila Hicks, who has done yeoman's work. And that is going to be all she wrote. The Vikings fall to their first defeat of 2024, and it comes at the hands of the Cabrillo Seahawks. Take a moment here to post that. It is the goal from Sadie Strout on the 74th minute, the free kick wonder strike that is responsible for Cabrillo taking home victory today by a 1-0 margin. Your final stats, Cabrillo led on shots, 9-8. As we said, the big story, they were putting more of them on frame. They gave Denise Correa more to do over the course of the day. And of course, the other big story is the Vikings had no capacity for rotation today. They started with just 12 players suited up. They went toe-to-toe with the Seahawks despite that, especially despite not being able to lean on Carlos for the final hour of the game. A very physical game. Cabrillo whistled for 12 fouls to DVC's 3, although interestingly, the Vikings wind up with all 3 yellow cards, 2 of them for dissent. One of them shown to Cailin Mullins and the other to Sierra Rosemont late in the first half. The other one to an as yet undetermined Viking during the course of the second. 3-2 was the corner kick count. But that will do it for us here today. A reminder of what is on the way here in Vikings land. Volleyball very busy this week. They've got Tri-Series against Mendocino and Merced on Wednesday and against Ohlone and Los Medanos on Friday. Men's water polo is at the Antilla tournament in Stockton. They'll be playing Ohlone Friday, Modesto Saturday. Unclear who else they'll be facing off with. Football is at ARC on Saturday at 1 p.m. for their second game and first road encounter. And as for the Vikings, the soccer Vikings, they are next at Skyline College on Friday. Note the weird kickoff time. Every game so far has been a 4 p.m. start. That one will be 12:30 p.m. and you'll be able to follow it live right here on DVC Vikings Live Radio. Until then, this is Joe Hickey wishing you dreams of green. We'll see you next time. Your final from Aptos, DVC 0, Cabrillo 1.